Blog Talk Radio. Hi, this is Margo. It is Friday morning, February 24th, 2017, and it's been, 2 or 3 weeks since I've done a show. I've been kind of depressed, looking at the whole flooding situation in California. I've been following that very closely because I live in Nevada, very close to the California state line. But I'm on the other side of the Sierra Nevadas, so, the flooding won't come across the mountains, but we have our own problems here, when the snow melts and everything. But I'm on high ground, so I don't expect to be affected by any flooding. It is earthquake-prone, though, but what are you going to do? There are no safe places, really. But I feel like... the whole dam system in California is set up to fail. It has to be maintained. All of those dams, those infrastructures, the spillways, all of that has to be maintained. And they built a whole series of these levees and dams and reservoirs to control the water, how it's distributed through California. It was a great engineering feat. Back in the day when it was made, but they have not been maintained, and that's the problem with Oroville Dam and some of the others. And so if they're not maintained, eventually nature will take its course, and that's what's happening, along with we're having the bizarre weather all over the world, drastic climate change, just like Guy McPherson talks about, and I'm also following Nibiru. So, and I like to follow technology with AI, how it's affecting humanity, how, robots are coming in and all this stuff, taking us over, changing our lives. So those are my main focuses right now. So if I don't do a broadcast every week or every few days, I'm busy doing research, or I have clients, or I'm dealing with my own health, self-care, which takes a lot of time. I'm over 60, and I've got issues, but I'm as healthy as I can be. But spiritually, I'm right on the mark. And intuitively and empathically, I am right on the mark when I work with my clients. So that's the important thing. And before I talk about the topic today, the differences between awakening and enlightenment, I'd like to do a plug for myself. I'm going to be interviewed live on the Daniel Ott internet TV show on Saturday, March the 4th. It's going to happen at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's 5 p.m. West Coast Time. Has a 2-hour live TV show. He has a live chat room where you can log in and ask questions. It's lively. I like Daniel Ott. He calls himself the Cosmic Cowboy. his website is theedgetvam.com. So that's where I'm going to be. If you have any questions or you want to hear, we're going to be talking about my other dimensional contact based on my book, Exploration, with my experience with other dimensional contact, which includes, I think it includes anything paranormal or anomalous, but I don't know what we're going to get into. You never know with Daniel, but we're both Geminis, so it will prove to be a lively discussion, no doubt. So I'm looking forward to that. My website is margoshealingcorner.com. It's Margos, healingcorner.com. There's no T in Margo. I'm a hypnotist, holistic life coach, spiritual healer, and I've been working in the last year. I've been focusing on removing energetic implants from people. They can come from a lot of different places. They can be put in, it can be called alien implant removal. That's what I called it when I first started. But implants can come from a lot of different places. Anyway, I have my own special way of doing it, and I work directly with Jesus and God and the angels to do this work. And it's amazing. It's amazing work. And I also do hypnosis for positive behavior changes and for past life regression, star family contact, helping you contact your guides, helping you go within, quiet your mind, etc., etc. And I have a really cool technique also where you can go into the library of your subconscious mind and get answers from the library. It's all in there. It's all in there. The only way out is in. And so that leads into our topic today, the differences between awakening and enlightenment. And if anyone is listening live and would like to call in and discuss this or have questions, the call-in number is 845-262-0773. So the differences between awakening and enlightenment. The reason I want to do a talk on this topic is because a lot of people out there use the word awakening and the word enlightenment interchangeably. They think that if they have an awakening, they're enlightened, and if they're enlightened, they're awakened. But that's not the case. That's not the case. And enlightenment, in the way I look at it, enlightenment can be used a lot of different ways. You can just say in a conversation, enlighten me on this subject, which means give me more insight, give me more information. But in the spiritual world, a spiritual enlightenment is what you have and what you experience, your own experience from going within and seeking and searching and quieting your mind and learning to commune with the divine voice within yourself, which everybody has, and I can help them learn how to do that. But it's getting harder every day because we are under more and more attack every day. But in the spiritual enlightenment, there is no end to the spiritual enlightenment. Once you have one enlightenment, one big spiritual enlightenment, then you're on another level. You've reached another plateau, and it's like you've climbed to a certain mountaintop. Maybe, you were in the valley when you started, and you climbed up, climb on your journey for, seeking and everything. And then you get to the top of, let's say, a 2,000-foot mountain. So you've made great progress, and you get up there, and you think, oh, wow, look at this view. And you can see things from a bigger overall perspective. And then when you look off in the distance, you can see there are higher mountains. And you realize that that's not the end of your journey. It's one level. But once you reach that level, you know, you see things from a different perspective. You can see things from a higher vantage point, where you were in the valley before and you couldn't see what was going on. And then so you've made progress, and so you can help discern things in your life, people, situations, but it's still not the highest. And so with each enlightenment, you go to a higher level. It's like climbing another mountain. Maybe you climb a 3,000-foot peak the next time, or 4,000 or 5,000, and you just keep going higher and higher. And then you reach, then you'll plateau, and it doesn't keep going. You'll reach stages where in your spiritual enlightenment, your spiritual journey, you'll feel like, oh, nothing's happening. I feel like I've reached a block. You've plateaued. You've plateaued, but it doesn't mean to stop in your spiritual quest or your practices of meditation and going within. It just means that you've plateaued, and the things are cooking. Everything's cooking inside you spiritually. And then when you're done, you'll have another enlightenment. And it's amazing. It's an amazing journey. It's an amazing life. I've been on this journey, I feel like, all my life, and it never ends. And just because you become enlightened doesn't mean you become happy. Let me tell you, I've mentioned that before in some of my talks, and people think, well, once I get enlightened or awakened, I'll be happy. And that is totally not true. You may be more depressed and feel more down and more discouraged after you see what's really going on, because the veils have been lifted. And it's a dark reality. It doesn't mean we can't function in it, but once you see what you're really up against, it's a very dark reality. And many days I deal with that. I deal with that in myself, and it's like once I see this entanglement and the control that the dark side has over this whole planet and the whole solar system, and it's like, well, what can I do? What can we do? How can we exist here? And the only way out is in your own awareness, your own salvation, your own answers. And this is so, so, so important. So important now. And this is what people are looking for, but they look for it outside of themselves. And now I'm going to talk about the word awakening. And awakening, I feel like, is more a word that people use when they have had, they become more aware of 3D reality, 3D facts, things that are going on, like politically or monetarily, or even spiritually, like corruption in a church, or corruption in a religious system, or corruption in government, corruption everywhere. We see corruption, and then they have an awakening. And a lot of people are awakening, and this is what David Icke talks about. He says, oh, let's awaken, humanity awaken, get off your knees and awaken and take your humanity back. But he doesn't really give any answers. And another person that does this is Jordan Maxwell. Now, I'm not putting down David Icke or Jordan Maxwell or any others who do research into the inner workings of this 3D. it is wonderful, great work, and I've followed both of them. I still do follow both of them, and I think they're doing great work, but they don't have all the answers. And their job is to focus in on specific areas and target specific areas and specific things to enlighten you, because it's too big. This whole deception and everything is too big for one person to cover all of it. And so what they do will point out the deception and the fraud and everything in our governments, how we've been deceived from so very long ago. And I'm seeing we've probably been deceived from the beginning. I mean, way back from before even David Icke and what Jordan Maxwell are talking about, probably from the very beginning, because Satan was in charge, and I believe he still is in charge here. I mean, different people feel different ways about that, but I see that there's a dark force ruling and overlaying everything, and overlaying in this dark matrix, energetic matrix that's over the earth. And it's in quantum fields, it's in energetic fields, it's all the way through. And so, I go to another perspective with this. And so it's good for people to investigate 9/11, investigate the JFK shooting, and investigate all of these different areas, and to see how the dark side has manipulated. And if a certain person was going to expose them, they killed them. They killed them, or discredited them, or made them go crazy, or made them die a pauper. Just like Tesla. I mean, he had discovered so many technologies that could have made us free in so many ways, but they didn't allow it to come forth. And it was all through the high elite, J.P. Morgan, all of that. And you can read his history, and with his free energy and how he tried to promote it, and they promoted Edison instead because they knew they could make money off of Edison, but they couldn't make money off of free energy, because if everybody had their own little way to create free energy, we wouldn't have to pay for it. We would be a free people. So, but instead they took all of his technology and all of his research, and they're still using it, and probably, using it for very dark, nefarious things. So that's what they do. And so awakening is more of awakening in your mind and with your thoughts, and seeing how we've been controlled and how we've been manipulated. And then when people see that, then they get angry, and then they say, well, we've got to fight this. We've got to wake other people up, and we've got to fight the system. But what they don't realize is there's no fighting this huge system. And the more you fight it, the more it weakens you and wears you down. And as you fight it, you gain attention, and the dark side will come make you more under attack. And unless you know how to deal with this stuff spiritually, on a spiritual level, and know some very high-level spiritual warfare, it's almost impossible to get through this, because you will come under attack, and you have to be willing to die for finding the truth, basically. And a lot of people have died, and I mean a lot of scientists. Just look at the list of microbiologists that have died. And they've targeted a lot of natural healing doctors, and a lot of them have died. They're trying to keep their websites from being on the internet. I just saw a thing last night about how Google has taken off all the pages for natural news, like 140,000 pages. And they just took them off. You search natural news, and there's like 5 or 6 things that come up. And their website comes up, but not all the links to all the different pages and articles that they've done, what used to be on there. It is gone, scrubbed with one push of a button. And this is what I'm talking about. And so that's the control system in 3D. And so can you fight it? No, you can't fight it. It's bigger than us because it's all encompassing. But we can fight it internally by taking the knowledge that we've learned, taking our knowledge and taking that anger, which will work in your favor to fuel you to go within and to find your own answers, how to deal with this stuff and how to go within and how to live your life in a different way. Not support these systems as much as possible. As long as you're in society, though, you're going to be part of the system. As long as you're living in a city, you're part of the system. If you're working, you're part of the system. If you have a bank account or even a PayPal account, you are part of the system. It's all set up that way. And very few people can really get out of the system. And even Guy McPherson has tried. He moved to Belize, of all places. But in order to get money, he's getting donations and stuff. But he's giving talks. He's traveling around the world. He uses the Internet. That's part of the system. All of this is part of the system, so you can't get away from it. And this is what I'm saying. You have to learn to work within the system in your own parameters, but be unplugged from it enough so that you can get your own enlightenment and your own guidance. And that's the key to where you take the knowledge from 3D, from this research that these great people and great researchers and great minds have put together, and you don't throw them away if they don't give you an answer. That's not their job. Their job is not to give you the answers and to tell you what to do. They're trying to wake you up so that you will learn to think for yourself. And most people are not thinking for themselves. They just react. Something happens and they react instead of saying, what is this about? And then they go into their mind, and not only the left brain, but they can access the right brain. Now, a lot of people can't access the right brain, that right brain, to get the answers because they've been blocked off. They've been mind controlled. They've got implants. They've been brainwashed. And you can only awaken so far. You can only do this awakening process so far before you have to go into the right brain. Because if you do not access the right brain and start accessing spiritual answers and the higher realms and higher dimensions for your answers and ways of being here, it'll make you crazy, because there is no fix. There is no fix for 3D reality. There is no fix. There's no fix to Fukushima. There is no fix to Nibiru coming in. There's no fix to all the flooding in California. There's no fix to the Arctic sea levels, the Arctic ice going away, which is going to make the sea levels rise, which is going to raise the global temperature, and which is going to make a whole bunch of things. There is no physical fix to any of this. And so the only way out is in. And that's my message to everybody. And we have to become okay with what's going on inside ourselves. We have to become okay inside ourselves with who we are, living the best lives that we can, knowing that we're doing our absolute best, knowing knowing, like Kenny Rogers says in The Gambler, know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. And I'm telling some of my clients, you need to run from this situation. You've got demons that are attacking you, and as long as you're in that situation, you're going to keep coming under attack. I see this all the time. I can help them. I can help get rid of the demons, but if they're in the situation, they keep opening that door, the demon keeps coming back. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And they have to learn to fight them. They have to learn to become strong inside themselves. And if they've got all of this programming and everything on them, everything piled up on top, layer upon layer upon layer, they can't see it. So it is a very evil world that has come down, that has been manipulated over thousands and thousands of years, probably from the beginning. And now it's coming to fruition. And we're seeing it. We're seeing the veils being lifted. We're seeing it. We're seeing hell manifesting here. CERN is going to go fully online and open up in May. And if you listen to anything with Anthony Patch, he is amazing. He's an amazing CERN researcher. Oh my God, the things they have planned for CERN, unbelievable. And they're going to be, according to him and his research, they're going to be bringing the Egyptian gods back and manifesting them through CERN, through DNA reconstruction. Amazing. And this is going to happen this year. And you think things are not going to change? They're already changing. They're already changing. The spiritual is everywhere. You cannot separate the spiritual from the physical. It's all overlaid and it's all punching through, and we're seeing it. And so you've got to get strong spiritually. And the only way to do that is to start unplugging from the matrix, unplugging from the programming, becoming as clear as possible, going within and finding your own answers, learning to trust your own inner voice, and learning some spiritual warfare. So I'm going to wrap it up. That's my show for today. I hope you got a little more understanding of the differences between awakening and enlightenment. Again, my name is Margo. My website is margoshealingcorner.com, and my YouTube channel is Margo's Healing Corner. And be sure to tune in to Daniel Ott's show. I have a link to it on my website, on my media links page for Saturday evening, March 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. West Coast time. 2-hour live interview with Daniel Ott. We're going to be talking about my other dimensional contact. All righty. Everyone be safe. Get prayed up. We're in for a ride. And get right with Jesus. Everyone take care, and until next time, God bless.